Hey guys, very neat. This is Anastasia Autumnfire, and today is the 29th day of my 30 days of Samhain crafting. Tonight's crafting, keeping with the ancestral offering theme, for lack of a better phrase, I chose to go with something that is very solemn, but in the same breath is very close to my heart. This is actually a gift, although it's not much to look at. It's an offering for those that have left us too soon. I know there are those opinions of the afterlife where our souls have contracts, so to speak, and there's a decision to leave this earth at a certain time. There is no fate. It's all predetermined and things like that. I don't know that I believe in that. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that concept. But I do know it exists. I do know there's that thought process out there. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, for me, I don't know that I'm not entirely sure what I believe about the life after this. So in creating this, it's with the idea that those that die of a cause other than natural are taken too soon. Children, anyone who dies of a violent death, drugs, things like that. Those are the souls that this is honoring or remembering. Again, in the wording, I did incorporate that I did have some names listed of those that I knew that have passed away and were taken too soon. But I did incorporate the wording where it honors all of those souls that are taken too soon, not just those that I know. Because I certainly do want them all to be incorporated in this offering. So what this is a piece of birch bark. It's a very thin, almost like paper, consistency or thickness. And on the inside, I've already sealed it up, so I can't show you everything. But on the inside, I wrote the incantation, or it's not an incantation or a spell. It's a prayer of sorts. Basically just stating my intent with this. So that's on this side. Then let's see if I can pull this away so I can show you a little. You can kind of see it there. Here I put the names of those that I wanted to honor with this, that I knew who had passed away and were taken too soon. In here I made a pentagram, but instead of the circle around the pentacle, I actually drew a heart, since this was very much an honoring craft of warmth and love. What I then did, I put some sealing wax on there, and I added some candula. It's very much a flower of joy, of happiness. I associate it very much with youth. And although it's a very energetic flower, it is a flower that is to represent the energy of the sun. I do have a sort of kinship with it where it brings me peace. So I do also associate it with peacefulness. So I did add that here. And then I added a little bit more sealing wax and put my 3 stones of choice. Tonight, the amethyst and the carnelian are the usual, but I went with the clear quartz for this one just to amplify the powers. I chose birch. I just realized I don't think I explained that. I chose Birch because Birch is very much about rebirth. It's about renewal. And it does have correspondences that deal back with youth. And I know this, someone taken too soon is not necessarily guaranteed to be a youth, but that's really where this idea came from, was I wanted to honor the children that had passed. And then I started thinking about that, and it's like, oh, but really I would like to also honor those that were taken by violent deaths or taken by an overdose of some sort, or an accident, or suicide even. It's a very serious concept, but it's still one that I thought had to be broached, for me at least, for my honoring for Samhain. I definitely don't like to think of death in terms like these, but it does happen. It has happened to me personally, and is a fear of mine as well, especially when it comes to children, since I do have one. So even though it was difficult for me to conceive of it, it had to kind of take place. I had to think about it. I had to go through that process. And it actually taught me a good lesson about when it comes to honoring, especially something along your spiritual path. There are going to be subjects you don't want to touch. There are going to be those moments of, I don't want to deal with this. This is too heavy. I don't want to think about this. This brings me to a bad place. But there's a lot of times you have to do that. You have to do the hard thing, because in the end, it's the right thing to do. I don't think I could go through a Samhain ritual of honoring the dead if I didn't approach this subject. So, sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there. So yeah, so I chose Birch because of its renewal, its rebirth, and it does have a tie to the youth, which I liked. So after I got the inside of this all taken care of, I rolled it up and took my sealing wax and sealed it shut, almost like a scroll. That was my intent. Now this one flap won't go back in. There we go. I wanted it to resemble a scroll of sorts. So I rolled it up, and with the sealing wax sealed it shut. I put my herbal offering blend on top of the sealing wax till it stuck, and then I used a pink ribbon and tied it around the birch scroll 3 times, again for Maiden Mother Crone. So yeah, I think I've gone on enough tangents. I feel pretty good about leaving it there. Again, not the prettiest of crafts, but very personal for me, very symbolic, very powerful. And while I was creating this, actually, my little girl wanted to watch some Disney collection of cartoons, and they had the Little Match Girl on there. And Little Match Girl is a story that has always gotten to me, and even just thinking about it now, I'm getting teary-eyed. It's very much emotional. And while crafting this and that going on in the background, it really connected me to this craft and really made me think about the peoples whose names are inside the scroll and what they meant to me, what they meant to my friends, just the parts that they played in other people's lives, and the energies that are in this are very close to my heart. So although it's not the prettiest craft, it is definitely one of my favorites, simply because of the process it took to create it. So yeah, that will be it for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow is my last Samhain craft. Dependent on the day of Samhain, I may make one more craft. I know I'd really love to get to the graveyard on Samhain. I think it may end up being a Day of the Dead visit, but I really would like to get to the graveyard, and I was thinking about doing a video just kind of sharing with you the offerings that I was going to leave on my grandfather's grave. But we'll see. We'll see how Saturday turns out. But yeah, that's it for Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I hope you're having a great week leading up to Samhain. Many blessings. Night, guys.